Hey there, Rebel Scum! Got another rewind session for you today, another great retrospective on Star Wars collecting. I bet you were wondering what happened with January. Well, I told you in December, the last video, that we're probably going to be doing these every other month. It takes a lot of not only research, but getting these things together. I can't do it on a monthly basis. I have other stuff. I have a whole other channel I'm running, Cool Toy Review, if you guys should check that out as well. So it takes me a little bit more time, but I'm going to make these a little bit more worth it in terms of the content here. So we're having them every other month, but there'd be bigger ideas and there'd be cooler things to check out. And I have a surprise announcement at the end of the video about the Rewind series that I will announce at the end of the video. So tune back for that. Today, it's going to be accessory sets. And I bet you remember this great one from the original collection here, the Kenner collection, the first accessory set. It was a mail-away set. But there were a lot others, as you can see, flanking me on the left and right here over the years. I don't think it extended beyond the Saga line. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But we'll be checking them out. And there's quite a lot more than I have here, actually. This is all I was able to track down, but there are a lot more. Yes, this is going to be an opener video. We are going to be opening all these sets to check them out. I don't think it's too much of a crime to open these sets from '99. Yeah, this line did not do well, the episode 1 line. The Saga line did a little bit better, and I know some of these are quite pricey now, so you might cringe as I open them, but it's for the benefit of collecting. So we'll be checking those out. I'm not going to be opening this. I do have some open versions of these I can show you, but this is an awesome set, and I love this display case for this, and it took me a long time to track down the box here. But yeah, this is such a cool set. I love the artwork on it. We'll check this out in more detail in just a moment. But today is going to be all about accessory sets. Accessory sets are typically called accessory set on them, because I know there's been some other packs you're probably thinking about. What about like the 4 packs of figures that came with like 1 accessory? Because those were about the figures. Like it was either the Battle of Hoth, came with a Tauntaun and a couple figures, or it was the skirmish at Carcoon that came with the cannon and a bunch of figures, stuff like that, or the Bounty Hunter pack that came with a swoop and a bunch of figures. Those were more about the figures. Those were not about the accessories. Accessories have traditionally been, at least up until the 21st century, have always just been about the accessories. When we got to the Saga line, and I think circa 2002, 2003, they added 1 figure to this set, but it was still predominantly accessories. After this, it was mostly figures, and then 1 like additional vehicle or something, or a mount. But I'm still counting these accessory sets. They were called accessory set in the title. Stuff outside of that, I'm not counting, where it was like a catapult or a cannon or something like that. Yeah, those aren't really accessories. Those are like weapons, essentially, like a giant cannon. Either a catapult or a cannon is not really an accessory set. Accessory sets, as you can see, have a lot of accessories. It is about the accessories. So if there is something else out there that is predominantly accessory focused for the figures, the 3 3/4 lines, then let me know if I missed that. I'd love to see that. But I think we kind of encapsulated everything here in terms of those lines and what were accessory sets that kind of officially stopped around 2003. So we'll be checking those out, but let's hop back in time to where it all began with this great accessory set. I believe it was 1980, and this was the mail-away set for Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, focusing on a lot of survival gear that you need, but we'll go over this in a lot closer detail in just a moment. Let's hop in and check it out. Well, we get a lot of content in an effort to cut back on time. I'm not going to do a lot of 360s. I'm going to do 0 360s, actually. We're just going to focus purely on what we got here included in this bag. As you can see right here, we have the Jedi Training Harness. This is what this looks like right here. And this is essentially that you could just pop Yoda in here and then put it around the waist of Luke Bespin, and then we didn't have a big of a training Luke, essentially, and then that would just be the harness, and you could easily fit that figure in there. Next up, Luke, we have the Hoth backpack. Now, these also came with the Rebel Transport, so these are from the Rebel Transport, actually, and these just essentially went around the back of the characters, and again, a little harness type thing. And there are a bunch of these in here. I think there's like 3 of them, maybe 4 in here. So fun little additional accessory there. We have the asteroid gas mask from the scene with Chewbacca, Princess Leia, and Han Solo on the asteroid. And these are a fun transparent material. So you just wrap them around the head here and tighten it depending on the size of the head, Chewie, Leia, or Han. And they just kind of hang over there on the character as seen here. The other one I got here, and this is one of my favorite. I have it already set up in Luke for you guys to see. This is the grappling hook accessory. And this is from the scene where Luke was underneath the AT-AT, and he basically threw this up there and was able to recline onto it. I have it, sort of wrapped around the belt, so it doesn't have this loose lasso type of look to it. But you guys could definitely do that if you wanted to. I think this is a really fun look for the character. It really enhances the figure here, and that's what's great about the accessory packs. They enhance your already awesome characters, and that's exactly what they did here. Beyond that, there's an assortment of weapons you could see. We have a Dengar rifle. We have the E11 blaster rifle, which was the standard rifle for a lot of characters. We have a Bespin blaster on the top here, and then on the bottom right, that's from the AT-AT driver, and then over here is from the I think the Luke Skywalker Hoth and the Rebel officer Hoth had that blaster. See, a nice assortment of, as it says, assorted laser weapons inside this package here. So this was basically a mail away. You got this box, and then inside you had an assortment of weapons and accessories in this plastic bag. You got this little instruction sheet that was folded in there as well. And then you got this little brochure that was rolled up with some Star Wars collectibles from Empire Strikes Back. This box, hard to find. I think it's basically Nyanum and this are the only two that have a box this exact shape. Everyone else, like the mail-in Akbar, the mail-in Emperor, it's a tiny box. So if you want a box that's the right size, I think it's Nyanum and this are the only two that have this box shape. So like I said, tricky to track down this box, but this is the complete set here. There's people that make these little sliding acrylic cases on eBay or elsewhere you can get, and I think they really help you display this. It's a fun little display. I love the artwork. Again, I always go back to Kenner artwork and how awesome it is. But I don't want to spend too much time on this one because we got a lot to get through. So this is your first ever accessory set, and this was for The Empire Strikes Back in 1980 in the Kenner collection. All right, well, I have 4 accessory sets I'm going to show you from Episode 1 of Phantom Menace from the 1999 toy line. Now, these aren't all of them. There are actually 8. What I don't have here is the hyperdrive accessory set. And you can see here in the photo, it's got some pictures for fixing the hyperdrive. We have the Tatooine disguise accessory set, not to be confused with the Tatooine accessory set. A little bit different here. You can see some robes and stuff in there. We have the repelling accessory set. I don't know why they needed a separate repelling accessory set because the Naboo one has some repelling accessories, but that was an accessory set as well. And then we have the Pod Racer accessory set, was the Pod Racing Fuel or whatever. It had a bunch of different parts in there, little things you could see to repair the Pod Racers. Weird, I mean, 1999 was the year of accessory sets. I mean, we got 8. That is insane. We only ever had 1 before that. I don't believe there were any in the Power of the Force line. I mean, this is kind of an extension of the Power of the Force line. Essentially, it was still Kenner. It was still, no, this was when it was fully switched over to Hasbro. I take that back. It was right around this time we were in that transition phase of going from Kenner to Hasbro in terms of how everything was labeled. So yeah, the Kenner, I think it ended with the Power of the Force 2 line. So this was the first line after that. Brought the accessory sets back in a big way. These weren't mailaways. You had to buy these. You could see some stickers on these. I think it was $4 here. This might have been in a secondary market. I don't know what the original was because that sticker's all torn apart. But I think these were initially like maybe $5, maybe less when they sold originally. But yeah. Why don't we start checking these out now? I'm going to start with the underwater accessory set because I think we'll try to do these in chronological order if I can. So we'll do the underwater accessory set first. And yep, here we go. We're going to crack these open. So these, my tried and true way of opening anything is to do it at a angle here, sort of like a flush with the card. and then that way you don't tear everything up, and it's the easiest way to get stuff out without causing too much of a mess. So card not torn up, and I have everything here in this little piece, so you can see right here what we're looking at in terms of our accessories. So right away I noticed a couple of those Jedi rebreathers that we have seen in the film. I'll put them right here. So one for Obi-Wan, one for Qui-Gon. So we have those rebreathers. We got what looks like some Gungan attack poles or whatever. They're primary weapons here in 2 different colors. We got a gray one and we got a brown one, and they're a little thinner in the middle here for grips. We have a very detailed aquatic diving set with a mask on and everything. Not from the film, but fun little additional accessory in there to mount on your character, and then a backpack. So a deep sea diving accessory. We have some fins, again, not seen in the film, but if you wanted to make your guy a little bit more of a diver, it's like G.I. Joe equipment at this point. We have a blue lightsaber, so this would be Obi-Wan's. Qui-Gon had a green one in the movie, so black-handled lightsaber. And then we have just the hilt. This might be one of the earliest points that we had just a hilt for characters, because they always just had the sabers, and the hilt did not, the blade did not come out. So this might be one of the earliest hilts. I cannot recall one in the Power of the Force 2 line. We just got the sabers. And this was the next line preceding it, so that might be one of the earliest hilts. I think some of the figures came in the episode 1 line, came with both a blade and a hilt, but again, this is the same line. And then we get this little like guppy fish thing here where the mouth opens and it's got these dead looking eyes. So I think these are just like little background fish. So that's kind of a fun little detail on this guy with the eyes and everything. So fun little guy. I mean, you'd want a bunch of these if you were trying to set up a scene, but it's still a little fun inclusion to have in this little pack. So not bad. Not a bad start here with a bunch of fun little accessories for the underwater accessory set. It says it fits most 3 3/4 figures. I'm not going to try that, but I imagine it does. Next up, we're visiting the planet of Tatooine with the Tatooine accessory set with pullback droid. By the way, this was called the Bubbling Backpack. Let's see if there's anything on the back for instructions here. Instructions: backpack will begin to bubble when submerged in water and squeezed. Use only clean, fresh tap water. Squeeze fish to open its mouth and attack figures. It's an attacking fish, apparently. So this backpack, I guess if we stick it in water, oh yeah, look at that, it's soft. So there's right here, you just create bubbles, so you get that breathing effect. Fun. I gotta read the instructions from now on. This one is just a droid that rolls when you pull it back. I'll do a demo of that. So this one, you can see the original sticker on it for Walmart, $2. They were couldn't give these things away. Again, this line did not do that well. It might have to do with, at the time, I know it's hard to imagine more than 20 years later, at the time, the movie did not do very well. Well, I mean, it did well sales-wise, but with fans, did not like the episode 1. It has aged better over time, but that would probably reflect on why the toy line didn't do so well. So, one, you get this great classic poncho. I mean, this one looks like it could also work with Luke. It looks a lot like that Luke poncho from the original film. So you could have put this on your Luke, which we didn't have a Luke poncho figure at the time. The arms slip out through here. So you get this great poncho. I think this is similar to what Qui-Gon wore in the film. Second, we have this little, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a little book or something. It's only a one-sided item. So that is included there. I don't know what that one is. We get this little backpack that looks like it's a portable generator or something. So fun, little imaginative accessory. Get a blaster. Didn't see a lot of blasters in the movie, so this is a oddly designed blaster. Kind of looks a little Han Solo-esque. We get a Tusken Raider rifle right here. We did see Tusken Raiders in the film, and they were part of this. They weren't part of this line, but they came out later for episode 1 Tusken Raiders. And then we get this little pullback droid, I guess was probably from a scene walking around Mos Espa. And let's see if we get him to work. It's always the trick with these things. He's not working. Yeah, he is 25 years old, but he was never used, so you don't think that should have too much bearing Yeah, I had him working there for a second. Oh wait, there he goes. Well, it's just not connecting. Okay, so he moves a little bit. Not as much as you should on a flat surface. All right, don't want to play to it too much. We got a lot to get through, but this is your little odd droid that you could only get in this set. So if you were a completionist or you want more episode 1 stuff, you'd have to track these down. All right, next up, when we introduce Darth Maul and Tatooine, we have the Sith accessory set, because why not? Even bad guys need accessories sometimes. They like to accessorize. So we're going to have some for him. And yeah, like I said, in between, you would have had other sets like the Hyperdrive accessory set that would fit in there, the Tatooine disguise set. They would help round out your Tatooine needs. Now, this set instructions: fire and load droid missiles into backpack. So we've been firing backpack. Again, this was the 90s, late 90s. We like to have things that fired for some reason, like missile launching anything. We have another lightsaber for Darth Maul. Which I think is needed, because I recall when my brother had his, they bent. It was easy to bend these, and he needed another one. We have a nice Sith cloak, soft goods cloak. So we got plastic on the figure. So this would be enhancing your figure with a soft goods cloak. I think the one that came in the with the Sith speeder actually had a soft goods cloak. We have a harness here. I'm not really sure why, but you could essentially put this on here. I think it's going to connect to this launcher. We'll check out in a second. We have a little dirt piece here, which I think might be for these probes to sit in, if you wanted to have one displayed like that. Yep. We have a hilt, again, for the figure. So this was, I guess, in this line we started getting hilts. We have those macro binoculars that he used to find the characters. We have some kind of, looks like band that goes on his arm for when he started controlling the droids. So I think this is not on any of the other figures, so this kind of completes the scene where he was controlling the Sith droids there. We get 2 of these Sith droids, and I think I know why. You're going to see right here in a moment. And that's because we have this Sith launcher for these things. A lot of detail on this. Not in the movie, a little bit imaginative. I think the harness attaches to this. I see 2 points on here. So I imagine that this sits on the back somehow. I see little hooks on here, and then it basically goes around the waist to here. You kind of put it through here. Yep, I think this is how it goes. So you put the top part through here. There we go. There's 1. There's 2. All right. And then you hook up the bottom part onto these things here. However big your figure is, and I'm assuming it would be Darth Maul, not Darth Sidious, that you get out here. Yeah. And then you would have a harness essentially like this. Now, once you get the harness on, I'll show you what this looks like when it's assembled here. Yep, there we go. When you get the harness on, then you put your item in here that you're going to be launching. So, like so. And then you would just flick the switch and launch your Sith probe. So essentially this would be a backpack launcher. And then if you wanted to, you could just display it separately on this little piece of dirt. So this is essentially what you're getting in this set. I think it's nice because it kind of completes the search function of Darth Maul by getting this little band on his arm, having some of these droids there. And I mean, if you wanted to launch them to be fun, and then you get that bonus soft goods cape. So you could turn your first version of Darth Maul into a soft goods Darth Maul, as opposed to having to buy the speeder one. So this is actually a really nice accessory set. So after all that, you know, we had the pod racer one in between as well. We go off to Naboo for the final act of the film, and we have this Naboo accessory set. Like I said, there was also the repelling accessory set. For the one scene where they repel, they need a whole accessory set for that. And I guess it was just to make functional repelling things for you to have your characters if you wanted to have them repel. But there's some of that in this set. Place a backpack on a figure, pull grappling hook, wrap around a stationary post, and release figure to make it climb. So this is for a repelling aspect. So let's check this out. And here is our repelling, our Naboo accessory set. So one, we have a soft goods Jedi robe. I don't think any of the figures at this point came with a soft goods Jedi robe. So this might have been the only way to get it. So this is actually really cool, worth it just for this robe. You have this really large blaster here. I'm not sure what figure that came with. It might not have come with any of them. You have another blaster accessory. So we're just loading up on blasters for the Naboo, you know, Counter-Strike, the counter-offensive they organized there. We have Qui-Gon's lightsaber. So if you got the underwater set, you got Obi-Wan's. If you get the Naboo set, you get Qui-Gon's. You get a hilt for Qui-Gon. You get this little harness again, and I think this is going to be for the firing backpack set. So again, I think what you're going to do with this is you're going to put it on here, like you did with the other one, and then essentially it will go around the waist, and then you'll be able to fire this thing. So man, over the years, the rubber gets a little tougher to manipulate, but essentially you'll be putting it on like this, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this hook out, and then you're just going to let the character slide up to it. So that is basically how that would work. So yeah, that is a look at your Naboo accessory set. And like I said, we also have that repelling accessory set. I did not see that one anywhere, so it's a little bit trickier to track down. It might pop up on eBay from time to time. But this one, I mean, just for the robe is worth it. I mean, you can't get a soft goods robe for these figures at this point. We weren't doing soft goods for a while. I mean, I think it was like another 3 or 4 years in the sets before soft goods was a thing, with the Legacy collection or something like that. Like it was plastic, was the standard. So this is cool to get a soft goods robe. So pretty nice set. I think honestly worth it just for the soft goods robe. Maybe buying 2 of them to get 2 soft goods robes. But yeah. So this was it for the episode 1 sets. I showed you 4 of them. There's 8 total. I think there's like cannons and stuff too, but again, not accessory sets. So yeah, you get fun little bonus things, like you get this little attacking fish. He does not look like an attacking fish, but that's what the instructions say to do. Our little droid that doesn't seem to want to move, our repelling backpack here, and then this awesome Sith launching thing. That was just a little crazy additional fun from the 90s. But that is your look at your accessory sets from 1999 in episode 1, which moved forward a couple years to the Saga Collection. Well, now with the Saga Collection, I do have all 4. There were only 4. I mean, there were a couple others that were canceled. There was a Jabba's Palace and a few others. You could check on our website. We have just the names on those. This is the Arena Conflict accessory set. You can see on the packaging here, it's got that nice Saga packaging. But this one comes with, again, a little different here. It has a figure. Each one of these have a figure and some additional pieces, but they're still predominantly accessories, and that's why we're focusing on this. It's called Accessory Set, so it qualifies as an accessory set, and that's what this video is about. So popping this one open here. Easier to track these down than the other ones. They're just going to be a little bit pricier in the secondary market. And these, I think, were actually much better in terms of what you got in them. And they, some of them diverted a little bit from the movie, but otherwise, I think they stuck pretty close to what you could expect from the film. And you can see what we got here, a nice arrangement of parts. And I think you're going to like a lot of this. It's a lot of fun and a nice mixture. We're going to start with a Jedi robe. Again, a nice, really nice soft goods robe. Again, at this point, it was still pretty early in the line. We weren't getting these a lot. So you can see how it compares to the other one. It's slightly darker. So I want to say Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan had slightly darker robes. So if you bought this set and the other set, the Naboo accessory set, you got the right color robes. I mean, the stitching on it, everything is the same design. So I think they just repackaged this one from just 3 years earlier with a slightly darker tone to it. But then you get a nice Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon robe set. So these two, that's how you do it if you want to get the 2 set. Let's check out our character here. We got a nice battle droid, and this is a Geonosian battle droid. This is a little different than the other ones at the time. Different sort of paint scheme to it. This wasn't like your the droid that you got from episode 1. So sort of a unique way to get it. His head, for some reason, has a rubber band on it. It's an ancient rubber band at this point. It's falling apart. But I think it was just meant to hold the head on the body. I don't know why that was needed, but as you can see, it's just sort of peeling as I get to it there. I'll just leave that on. He has some missiles here And I'm assuming this is going to be a firing function. We'll check this out here. I'm just going to cut some of this tape so I don't have it keep me from taking this stuff out. And I think these accessories get really fun at this point. Yep, we'll check all this out here. Yeah, there is a lot. So let's start with what we got in the arena. We have 3 shackles. So one for Obi-Wan, one for Anakin, and one for Padme. So I don't think these came elsewhere, so this was a nice way to get the shackles. We have a nice helmet for a decapitated Jango Fett. And I don't think you could have gotten this anywhere at the time. You just got the figure. So if you just wanted the helmet for that scene, here's a nice way to get it without having to buy an extra figure and cut the head off yourself. So fun little accessory. Jango's blasters are in there as well. So we have that addition here. These came with the figure though, but you know, just extra little fun if you wanted some blasters. We have a battle droid rifle that comes with this set as well. We have an additional blaster here. I'm not sure who really used that one. We have some blades. We have a green blade. We have a blue blade, and then we have the hilts. So at this point in the line, you could separate these. Like I was saying, in the Saga line, we started getting into separating lightsabers. So here you go, and this is what they looked like. That saves you having to have an extra accessory as a hilt. So really nice there. And then we got some missiles here with what I want to call a little firing backpack, I think. So I think what happens is the way this works is it straps on to the droid here. I like this. Look at this. This is a fun little function. You can make the arm move by flicking this switch. So you could have like a little quick draw ability. So this one, I think it just kind of sat over the droid here and then became like a little rocket firing capability. These are, oh, they are spring loaded. So I think what you did is you just kind of pulled it back and let it go. As you saw there, hopefully you're in frame here. You just kind of pull back and let it go. And then I'm trying not to do it too much. It does have some distance on it, so I don't want to lose these right now. But yeah, again, this was the 90s, or this wasn't the 90s, this was the early thousands, but at this point, we kind of had that gimmick in there of, you know, firing things. So you had that backpack that you could take on and off there, and for some reason it doesn't want to let go. It clips on very well. Once you get it into position here, you could see these little clips at the bottom and his neck snap on to the bottom here, his little rectangular body, and makes it tough to take off. But then you got that quick draw gun feature here as well. So that's kind of fun. So a lot going on with this set and with this figure to really you know, take it up a notch. So that is your set here, is the Arena Conflict set from the Saga collection. Let's move on to the next film in the order, and that would be episode 4. We skip over 3. There was nothing for 3. These figures came out before the movie. So this is the Death Star accessory set. This is actually a really nice set, and you got a character that you'd love to army build as well. So I think they kind of gave you army building characters in all these sets. I know that's tough to do with Rebels because they're, you know, they're all individuals and they have faces instead of helmets. So, but you do the best you can with Hoth soldiers and stuff like that. It's just hard. There's only so much you could do. We're not going to have like 100 different face molds for Hoth soldiers. So you can always switch the heads up and take heads from different characters or different figures. But for the most part, it's tricky when you do ones like that. This one is not easy to open for some reason. There's a lot of really dense plastic parts I'm trying to cut through here. And yeah, there we go. Almost. Once in a while, I'll get one like this where it just doesn't want to leave the card. Here we go. Okay, so now we have our Death Star accessory set. This comes with quite a bit here, as you can see, and we get another figure. So we'll be checking that out. First, we got our torture probe. This came with, I think originally in the Power of the Force line at the end of the transition when it came with Darth Vader. So it was the first time we got that. We have a oversized mouse droid here. This is quite large and it's got functional wheels. And look at that. This one actually moves. There we go. That guy moves. There was an earlier version of this that came with, oh man, I want to say, was it the Death Star gunner? He came with somebody, but he's a lot smaller. A lot smaller mouse droid. Yeah, there was a couple of them. My memory escapes me, but in the Power of the Force 2 line, we got a smaller, it wasn't the Death Star, or it wasn't the Death Star gunner, it was somebody else, but we got a smaller mouse droid. This is really large, and I think it's just because they wanted the mechanics in there of it being able to move, but it's quite large for a mouse droid, and maybe for Black Series, he's the right size, but as you can see, he's like half the size of a figure here, so definitely not for this series. So what do we got here in this set? Well, we have the blaster that came with him originally, the Power of the Force 2 version of this guy. I think this might be the same version. He looked pretty good in the Power of the Force 2 line. He looked like he was ahead of his time for the way the figure was designed. You have one of these sort of blaster rifle holders. We saw this in the Death Star command room when they arrived in the Falcon. So that was, well, not command room, but security room. We have a couple of E11 blaster rifles. We have one of these longer D-something-19 rifles here that you could just sort of pop in like this, and they sit up in that stand. This also came with that Stormtrooper figure that came toward the end of the Power of the Force 2 line. Thinner Stormtrooper, not the beefy one that looked like he was from the Masters of the Universe line. We have a belt here. At this time, I think they had figures in the Saga collection. It was like Death Star Escape Han and stuff like that, so you get those belts with the figures, and then the Luke one also had one. And then last but not least, we have a helmet, just an empty Stormtrooper helmet. Of course, we had helmets that were produced for in the Power of the Force 2 line, Luke Stormtrooper, Han Stormtrooper in the mail away. But this is a line, this is a different looking helmet that looks more to the leaner Stormtrooper. But you got one here. So this is a nice little set of accessories for building out your little Death Star world. Yeah, this functional mouse droid. So that is a look at our Death Star accessory set. Let's move on to Empire Strikes Back and check out the Hoth accessory set. Make sure I have enough room here to keep these off to the side while we're doing this. And trying to do this in all one smooth shot because I can't reopen packaging right after you open it. So this one, Hoth Survival Accessory Set. You get the Battle of Hoth here. There's going to be some survival gear and some fun additional little items, some world building, some exclusive items to the set you couldn't get anywhere else. And yeah, this is a fun set. I love Hoth. I love everything Hoth. We did that whole video, The Many Battles of Hoth. Check that out to see all the Hoth sets ever made. A lot of fun stuff out there for doing Hoth sets, and this is no exception. This is a cool little set. As you can see here, we get a lot of nice little items in here. We'll be going through them in just a moment. I'm going to start off with your Hoth Trooper. This guy's a little different than the other ones produced in the line. He's got this like little goatee mustache thing here, the whole little beard setup, so it makes him a little bit different. He still has the standard blaster rifle that came with that figure. There's this little device that Han used. I think it came with some other figures before this, but it's included here. We have a backpack here, and this one is different. This one's not a peg. This one just kind of goes over the top of his shoulders. So a little change in design here, but then this way you could use it with any figure. You don't need a peg. So any figure could wear a Hoth Survival backpack. We have some breathing apparati, and you might think, hey, I love that little beer bottle look at the end there. And you might think, hey, this is the first time we're getting them. Actually, it came in those Power of the Force 3-packs for the Minoc hunt. So this is just a rehash of that. So you're getting 2 of them additional this time. You get one of those random crates that we always see around, the space crates that we see around on the ground in Echo Base. So you get one of those with this. And then I'm saving the best for last here. And again, we have another fun firing mechanism. This one is some kind of random droid that we didn't see in the movie, but we're getting an accessory of it regardless. This one has treads on it. Fun looking little design here. I don't think the wheels move, but yeah, it's like a little pivoting micro cannon essentially, as you can see here. And he has these little missiles, and they sit in there, and there's a click, and I think we just push the dome, and it's got a nice firing laser look to it. Boom. So again, only get that if you have the accessory set here. This did not come any other way. I think this is the only time that this accessory made an appearance in any of the lines. So fun little additional piece there. Makes it unique and makes it pretty much you have to get this set. All right, last but not least, my favorite, the Endor Victory Accessory Set. This came with a very unique piece, as you can see there, and that is the soldier helmet drums that you could only get, was ever made in just this set. And I saw this on the shelf a long time ago, I think back in Sears, when Sears still had a lot of this stuff. And I was like, that is probably the coolest accessory set I've ever seen. Because, yeah, we've seen that in the movie, and we all try to recreate it. But Hasbro just made it here for you. So that is not needed. Again, this comes with a figure. This is an easy troop build set. I don't know why they didn't go with an Endor Rebel Soldier on this one as opposed to a Scout Trooper, because, you know, the Endor Rebel Soldier would have been part of the Endor Victory set as opposed to the Scout Trooper was part of the losing side. So, not sure why they did that. But here is our Endor Victory set, as you can see with all the accessories here. A lot of fun, unique pieces in here. So I'm going to start with getting the Scout Trooper out of the way. He's off to the side. And this one's got some dirt on it or blast marks, so I think this is unique to this set. Previous to this, we did not have this kind of look for this figure. So in the Power of the Force 2 line, we got the one with the articulating legs, so he can fit on the speeder bike. In the, I want to say, Power of the Jedi line, we got this version of the figure. So this is probably a rehash of that. And of course, there are a lot of taped-in accessories, so I'm going to try my best to get these out of here. We have an Endor Rebel Blaster in here that comes in the set. We have the very tiny and easy to lose Scout pistol here that also fits in his leg. You guys know what that looks like. I don't need to do any close-ups of that. And it doesn't fit in his leg well, but it will stay in there. This looks almost like the Black Series size for that blaster. We have a soft goods jacket for one of the Rebels, which is really nice. I don't think we've seen it elsewhere as soft goods. So you can get this jacket and you can put it on. It's got little pouches, and I think it's a functional, yeah, it's a functional pocket. Insane. Really cool to see that. We have looks like a commando style backpack, again with that hook here, so you can put it on anybody. Maybe not this guy because he's got that piece protruding out the back, but like a little commando style backpack there. We have the Endor Rebel Soldier backpack that we've seen on those figures. That's also included in here. We have a ATST pilot helmet, just the helmet there. So if you wanted to make an ATST Han disguise figure before they released the figure, you could do that with this. Just adding that on a Han just for that comm shot. And then we have an Endor Rebel Soldier helmet that has opened here. So there's, or I guess, yeah, I mean, the Endor Rebel Soldiers wore it, but also Luke and Leia wore it. So you could throw this on one of them to give them that look that they're wearing their helmets there. We have some other accessories here. These are a little trickier to get out. But this is the grenades, essentially, or the detonators that they put on the shield generator. Now, these came originally with the, I think it was called Endor Bunker Han or something like that. And he had a whole bunch of these detonators. Now, they're suction cups. So these are a little stiffer than I recall, but maybe it's just over time they harden. So they're supposed to stick to a surface. I don't think that these are going to work, but you get 4 of them in the set. Not bad. And now the main attraction here, this great trooper helmet drum set. And it's not just any trooper helmets. They got dents in them for where they've been banged on with rocks and stuff, and these are broken down a little bit. So these are completely different molded. They're attached on there, a solid piece. And to help improve the fun, you also get the little drumsticks that they used here. So if you had your Ewok, you could do the whole scene, which I think is just amazing. So you could do your whole scene where you're sitting here playing the helmet drums. That's why I think that this set is possibly the best accessory set ever made. This was a fun little detail in the film from the end of the final trilogy. I'm sorry, the original trilogy. And they give you it all right here. Like, Hasbro knew their audience, and they knew we wanted a drum set of Imperial helmets. to go put on display. So, yep, that concludes your look at the Endor Victory accessory set, and it includes your look at all of the Saga accessory sets. All right, thanks for sticking with me. I know this was a lot. I rambled on a lot there. There was a lot to go through, a lot of little parts, and I really wanted to show them off to you. But yeah, all the way back from our original accessory set, 1980, a mail away, to these standard accessory sets that made a major comeback in 99, and then again in 2002, 2003 with the Saga collection. We had some really cool, fun little things that are unique to the accessory sets, like these Jedi robes that we got all the way back in 99. Some weird little fish things, the poncho, the rebreathers that were kind of unique to the accessory set. And then over here with the Saga ones, we get another Jedi robe. We get this weird firing tank thing. You get some great little Death Star accessories, including the moving mouse droid. And then you got that amazing drum set from the Endor Victory Set. So a lot of stuff unique to the accessory sets that really help you world build, that really help you put those finishing touches on the figures for your displays. Even today, I think it's pretty cool to get those soft goods robes. I think they still stand up to today's standards. I might even like them, just the fabric feels more woolly than it does the whatever fabric they use for the modern robes. So worth checking out. These are a little trimmer too. I mean, like I remember the Obi-Wan one from the Legacy one. It's just so massive that he could barely fit in the land speeder. So it's kind of cool to have a trimmed down robe. So something to consider, particularly if you're, just trying to build out a display and you just want to put a robe on somebody. Just to change up the look of the character a little bit. Now, these are expensive in the secondary market. You can pay $30, $40 for each one of these accessory sets. These are a lot cheaper. I think you can get all of them for like $30 or something like that. So if you're looking for parts or these kinds of parts, maybe geared more toward the other ones as opposed to these, which are going to run you quite a bit more money. Just because they were more popular. They're better, in my opinion, so worth checking out. So that is all for this Rebel Scum Rewind on accessory sets. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you found it informative. Please let us know if we missed anything that wasn't in the, I don't think we missed anything from the Kenner line, but from the subsequent lines, I only found accessory sets in the 99 episode 1 line and the 2002-2003 Saga lines. I did not see anything else that qualifies as an accessory set that is labeled accessory set. I could be wrong. I really thought there was something in the the Force Awakens line, but I did not see anything. Let us know. I always like knowing if there's something out there that we missed, and share it with everyone else here in the comment section. As always, like, subscribe, and follow. There's always something new on Rebel Scum. I said I had a little surprise for you. We're going to be doing a live version of Rebel Scum Rewind at Rebel Scum Con. I'm not going to tell you the topic yet. I might make it a surprise for the day of, but it's going to be an audience participation sort of event, and you'll see how that works. We're going to have some pretty bizarre things that we're going to show you guys at that as well. So definitely attend and check that out. If you can't attend, we're going to be recording it and we'll be posting it up on the site, so you'll be able to check that out as well. But it's going to be fun, so if you love our rewinds, definitely be there for that. So that is all for this time. As always, stay vigilant, you Rebel Scum.